we are here again for another weekly garden update. Since the garden seems to be growing leaps and bounds, Jamie got jealous and decided to take over the field report. So I am coming to you live from Channel 7 Newsroom, where I am sending it out now to Jamie in the field to give us our weekly garden update. Jamie?
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, New Berlin and garden enthusiasts. I'm Jamie, back out here in the garden. I just knew that after Sophia's report last week, I also needed to get out here and see for myself, and she was right. You can't see the ground at all out here. This garden has just really flourished this year. A lot of exciting things are happening. We have been harvesting squash and zucchini. We've probably harvested close to 15 squash already that the teachers and families downstairs in our preschool have been loving, as well as our staff. And we've probably harvested maybe about 5 zucchinis or so. A couple different zucchini breads have been made, and we are enjoying that delicious treat from our garden. Currently though, we've got a lot of tomatoes that are going on, maybe 15, 20 tomatoes that will be ready hopefully soon, so that we can have that harvest of salsa in our future, or some yummy BLTs. Our sunflowers, as you can see, are just incredibly tall. We used to be able to measure them by our own bodies or by some of our students' heights. We no longer can do that, as every single one is now taller than we are. We're going to have to get a ladder and a tape measure to figure out exactly how tall they are. It's not going to be much longer, maybe even by next week's update, that we'll be able to see that yellow head poking out a little bit. And it is starting to get close to opening up, and we're excited to see how big those sunflower heads get as well. A lot of exciting things are happening in our pumpkins right now, which we are thrilled to see. In just a moment, we're going to have Mac come in and zoom in and kind of show you the growth on some of these pumpkins. From what we can figure out, we're going to have 2 different varieties of pumpkins. Over here, it looks like we might have some white pumpkins that we had gotten for our students last October, and then went ahead and dumped the seeds into the garden. And then these bigger leaves we think might be some larger orange pumpkins, but we're going to have to wait and see until they're just about ready. Otherwise, everything else is going good. Our poor pepper plants, you can't even see them anymore. They've been totally overtaken. So we'll have to see if we can get any of those back out for some salsa in the future. One thing we have learned this year is we're going to have to spread this out a little bit, we think. Things are just really large and really taking over, which is exciting. Our families have really been able to enjoy some of the harvest. So in just one moment, we're going to zoom in on some of the pumpkins for you, but otherwise, as you can see, lots more growth and lots more harvesting. All right, as you can see, we got Mac down here to zoom in on our pumpkins a little bit, and you can see a really nice one coming in right here. At first glance, we actually thought it might be a tomato, because this vine has actually wrapped itself completely around our tomato cage. As it grew, it really went off. But then we also have this little one starting, and then we have some more that are in the pumpkin plant over to our left. But we're really excited about this one and seeing how big that one gets, and if it ends up being one of our white pumpkins or if it's an orange pumpkin. Thank you once again for joining us for this week's garden update. We're excited that you joined us here in the garden to see how things are growing. Live here in the garden, I am Jamie, and we're going to send it back to Jennifer in the studio. See you later, New Berlin.
Yes, thank you, Jamie, for that weekly garden update. We are so happy to see that our garden is growing leaps and bounds. Well, from Jamie in the field and Jennifer here in the studio, have a great day. Keep growing, New Berlin.